Good morning. My name is Bob Devlin. I'm a licensed attorney and I'm a licensed mediator, semi-retired now. Have practiced law here in Houston, Texas for approximately 48 years. I'm here to speak a little bit about my involvement with the Veterans Administration Veterans Initiative. It all began approximately in 2009 and 2010 when I read an article in the Houston Bar newsletter which stated that they were having interviews for attorneys to go out to the Veterans Administration and to counsel veterans. This attracted me and I made a call. And this is how I became hooked. All of us at one time or another have developed a passion, an idea that they have something that involves them that they love more than anything else. It could be riding a bike, it could be golf, it could be diving, it could be swimming, it could be running. But all of us have become hooked on a passion at one time or another. My passion basically is going out to the Veterans Administration on every Friday afternoon. So when I went out there that first Friday, I was awed. I've been by the Veterans Administration numerous times, but I wasn't aware of the fact that how big and how large the place was. There were thousands and thousands of cars out there that Friday afternoon. Thousands of people roaming around. The hospital is gigantic, and I thought maybe I had bit off more than I could chew, and I couldn't even find the place. Eventually I did. I was given a short introduction and what to expect, and I was shown my office. My office was examining room 5, and that's been my office for the last 3.5 to 4 years. The examining room 5 is 6 by 10, but it's a chance where I get to know some veterans and speak with them. When they come in, I introduce myself to them. I ask them their names, what branch they served and where they served, and I'm trying to make them comfortable. Then I get close to them. We're seated about 3 or 4 feet away, and I look them in the eye and I say, talk to me, because I want to listen. I want to listen to their problems. I want to hear them, have them say to me what their concern is. So I listen, I encourage, I ask questions. During this particular time, I've developed a rapport with them. At the end of the session, hopefully I've solved their problems, I've answered their questions, or I've referred them to an attorney with Houston Volunteer Lawyers. All of the people that I speak with out there are typical clients that I have interviewed and all of us have interviewed in our past. The only big difference is most of them are homeless. Most of them have little or no money, little or no assets. They have medical problems, but they have real legal problems. And that's what we're out there for, to solve and help them solve their real legal problems. I remember my first client, I call him client, the Houston Volunteer Lawyers calls them an applicant. He was a young Afro-American male in his mid-20s, and he had been out of the service several years. And during this particular time, he had incurred an unbelievable amount of debt. He had payday loans, he had car loans, he had other loans, he had credit card debts into literally thousands and thousands of dollars, and his only income was a disability from service-connected. He was frustrated. He had received calls, he had been sued, he didn't know what to do, where to turn, and he had questions. I was able to answer some of the questions and recommend that he consider a Chapter 7 bankruptcy. During this particular time, we were handling, the Houston Volunteer Lawyers, Veterans Administration were handling bankruptcies. I spent probably 20 minutes with him, and during that particular time, I think I've established and answered his questions, and I know when he left, he thanked me, and he looked relieved. I handled 3 or 4 other applicants that first Friday, and when I left, I felt pretty good. I felt that I had helped somebody, I had answered some questions, I had hopefully solved some problems. But the thing that stands out most during the 3+ years that I've been out there was the time when Mickey Baden, who was the director of the program at that time, came to me and said, Bob, I want you to handle and talk to this woman. He brought her in and introduced her. I sat her down. She had tears in her eyes and she was very, very nervous. I asked her, what could I do to help her? She said, well, I really don't know. I've been sent down here by the social worker up on the 6th floor. You see, my husband's dying of cancer up on the 6th floor, and she felt I needed to come down and talk to an attorney. I don't know why. I asked where she was from, and she mentioned a small town in East Texas, as I recall it. She had little or no family here, little or no family in Texas, except some children back in East Texas. I asked her basically, did she have a will? She said no, and I asked her, did she have any types of powers of attorney? She said no. What about HIPAA release, HIPAA authorizations, and directive to physicians? She indicated to me that she didn't know what those items or instruments were. I was able to spend another 30 or 40 minutes with her and got all the information necessary to have the forms prepared by the Houston Volunteer Lawyers Program. After she left, I talked to Mickey Baden and told her that these documents needed to be prepared this weekend because it was an urgency. It was a matter of possible life and death. The next Friday when I came back, I asked Mickey whether or not these documents had been prepared, and he said of course, and they were all executed. I felt good. And then I sort of forgot about it until approximately 8 or 10 weeks later. When Mickey came in, she said, "Bob, there's a lady out here that wants to speak with you. She's asked for you personally." This is kind of a surprise to me because most times I only speak with the applicant or the client one time, and I'm sure they forget my name as soon as they leave the program. But this lady specifically asked for me. She came in, and though I didn't catch the name, I recognized the face. This was the same lady that had come to me that didn't know anything, and I was able to help her. She told me, "Mr. Devlin, I wanted to come here and thank you. I wanted to thank you for taking the time to help me solve some problems, to get me through this very, very trying process. My husband passed away," she said, "but I was able to handle it. I was able to get through it, and the documents that the Houston Volunteer Lawyers prepared were a lifesaver." She grabbed my hand, said thanks. She walked away. Her voice, her expression gave me chills. This is why I keep coming back. This is why I go back almost every Friday. So what's it like on a Friday? What do I get out of it? It's hard to say. It's hard to put in the words. You need to go out and explicitly try. You need to talk to these people, and you'll leave there, if you take the time to do that, you'll leave there feeling really good. Sometimes you're able to solve the problems. Sometimes all it takes is to be able to listen to these people and to show that you care, show that somebody cares about them and tries to help them solve their problems. Some problems are solvable. Some problems are not. Sometimes the applicant just wants to come in and talk to somebody. Sometimes he has a real problem or she has a real problem. Hopefully, during that time, you're able to help them solve the problem, put them on the road to solving the problem. So the 3 or 4 hours I spend out there every Friday is a treasure to me, and hopefully it's helpful to everybody out there, helpful to all those veterans. And so why do I continue? I continue because I'm a vet myself, but I've been blessed. I've been blessed, and I want to be able to share my talents with somebody who is far less fortunate than I am. It's really not very hard to go out there and to listen, to encourage, to help them solve their problems. If you can't solve the problems, you recommend a lawyer or an agency that can help solve their problems. So for everybody out there, it's extremely important to continue, and that's why I continue, because I can give back to my community. I can give back and help people that are less fortunate than I am. So get hooked. Get out there and volunteer. Find a place in your community where you can help somebody less fortunate than you are. Thank you very much.